I just want to show you, this is the camera that I've been using. This is the Sony A7s, if you can see right here. Yeah, there you go. The camera itself, which is this body right here, I want to show you this one. This is the sensor inside, as you can see. Yeah, somewhere here you can see that's the sensor. This is the sensor. It's a full frame sensor, and I bought this camera for the body itself is about 6.6k ringgit Malaysia from Shashinki. I am grateful for this camera because not only is full frame, but at least at the time of release, this camera is very famous for the video features and all the music video you watch. I'm going to link all the projects, all the music video that I shot with this camera, the link down below, so you can check it out how it looks like on this camera. I told my mom I need a camera, so she is kind enough to help me to get one of these really good camera. It's a Sony A7s. It was around 6.6k that time. Now it's much lower, and I got the body first and the adapter, which is this one. You can have a look right here, this one right here. So the reason why I wanted to get the adapter, because I didn't want to buy a lens immediately, because my college has a lens, and the lens they are using is exactly the lens that I bought right now, which is the 24-70 f4L series lens. And this lens is a good lens. It covers most of the range, but the thing is, this f4 is not f2.8. You will get less light, I think. Yeah, less light, because it's f4 and f2.8. The aperture is wider, so if the aperture is wider, more light come in. But whatever, this is the lens I got. Is as you can see right here, it's a Canon lens. It's 24-70. You can see there, 24-70 f4L lens. This is the lens, and I always have the lens hood on because it's important to protect your lens, and having the lens hood on is actually very crucial. I will link a video below to explain why using lens hood is very important, and why there is this thing right here. And so far I have 3 batteries, 1 memory card. Yeah, just to continue, this is a very good camera. The low light capabilities on this camera is just insane if you use the correct lens, if you use the right lens. Because if you're gonna use f4, it's good, but I don't recommend. Based on my experience, you have to use a prime lens. You have to use something below f2.8, maybe f1.8, f1.5. that is a very wide opening aperture right there. And if you have that with this camera body, I think this is, you will have one of the best low light camera, or even one of the best low light photography or videography outcome ever. So that is my experience that I've been using this. This camera is since May 2016, and now it's 2018, and I don't plan to upgrade to the new version. Like, I'm not sure actually whether to plan to upgrade, because I'm not using this camera at its full potential or capability yet so far. But I've been loving this camera. This is my go-to camera. But the thing that I want to do before I go to England is I want to change the screen. As you can see, let me just get the lights. As you can see, there's a lot of scratches going on the screen, and yeah, I plan to change the whole LCD before I go to England. Yes, this camera is heavy, especially when you zoom it out. This is how it looks like. This is huge, you know, like that. You see, it's big, it's very big. This is the full zoom capability you can go, and it's very heavy, especially when you don't have strap. But I took off the strap because I like to have it like this. Have I ever dropped my camera like this? No, so far no, and I hope I will not drop in the future. But yeah, this is the camera I've been using. I can continue to use this to come out with some great footage, because I don't believe, people say the best camera you have is with you all the time. So it means your phone or whatever you use. And I don't know, sometimes it's the tool that we use. What I'm trying to say is, like, if you have a gun and you have a handgun, okay, this is a handgun right here, and you upgrade to a machine gun, but your skill is still the same, you don't know how to aim the target, there's no point upgrading your gun if you don't know how to aim your target. It's still the same, and because of that, if you upgrade to a bigger gun, maybe it's not worth it because you don't know the basics of using a gun. Same with the camera. You know, I shoot all my vlogs, most of the, actually all with this GoPro right here. I don't need to have a zoom lens or anything. In fact, the GoPro is much smaller than my phone, but I enjoy using GoPro, and I record my sound to my phone with an external mic. And I think it's interesting because no one cares what camera you use as long as the content that they are watching or you are watching matters. As long as it's interesting, as long as it's exciting, then I think it's okay lah. This is a really good camera, and this is the battery right here. I have 3 of this battery. This is the Sony battery. You can see how small is the battery. This is a size comparison. Okay, this is my phone right here. Look at that. So if you have iPhone, you should know how it looks like. Yeah, so this is the battery, and one battery, I mean, when I bought this, the box inside came with 2 battery because Sony knows that 1 battery is not enough. And I think it's a very good gesture for all the people who just bought Sony A7s in the future or any camera like that. I think it's worth it having 2 batteries. But for me, for what I am shooting or anything, a type of event, 2 batteries is not enough in some cases, so I bought another one. It's not a Sony battery lah, it's just a battery, yeah, a third-party battery. You might be wondering what type of settings that I use. I always shoot, okay, so I always shoot my videos, it's always 25 or 50. Most of the time back in the college days, I actually shoot on NTSC mode instead of PAL because I wanted to utilize the 60 frames per second. But then when I came back to KK, I realized using NTSC under lighting condition like this is gonna flicker. I decided to move back to PAL video mode and not use NTSC in this type of shooting environment. Unless I'm shooting outdoors using NTSC, I think it's fine, 60 frames per second. But most of the time I shoot on manual and auto. I think both is good because you cannot, I would just say manual and auto mode are as important as together as possible. I don't know what I'm talking about, but for the benefits of manual mode is that you get yourself comfortable and give yourself time to study and understand the settings of the particular shots you want, and you just get to customize. That's the good thing about manual mode, you get to customize the settings you want to the outcome you want, you know, all those things. So it's more like a pre-planned shoot with manual mode. However, with auto mode, sometimes you want to capture that moment but you don't have time to actually change the setting. That's the time when you need to use auto, because you cannot go like, okay, I need to change the aperture, and then when you're changing the aperture, the moment is gone. So you need to use auto mode sometimes. Well, sometimes I understand that using auto mode doesn't guarantee you the best image quality, doesn't guarantee you the best outcome. I understand that because I used before. It really depends on your luck lah. Sometimes the camera decides what's best for you, what's best for the shot. Which mode I prefer? I prefer manual mode because manual mode is much better because you get to decide, you get to fix your shot, you get to decide, you know, you understand me, you get to fix your shot. Like you want to adjust, you want to make it brighter, you want to make it more shallow depth of field, you want to make it darker, all those things you can do by yourself. You tell the camera what to do, you actually key in the settings to the camera and the camera will do whatever you ask it to do. you know, not like auto is different. Auto, you sometimes you don't have the time to tell the camera what to do, and sometimes you don't have the opportunity to actually go and change the settings like a crazy dog. Both moods are good, and it really depends on the situation you are shooting. So for those who are watching and you are thinking to get a camera, I think, you know, get a small camera. Here's my list of small cameras that I recommend from different companies. These are affordable cameras. I mean, if you buy an iPhone, it's 4,000, 5,000. Why can't you buy a camera like this? My next wish list is to get a tripod. This is right here. This is the tripod that I want to get. This is the Manfrotto B3 pocket tripod, and I feel like this tripod is very light and very sturdy, so I think I will try to get before I go to England, because this tripod has the fluid head. As you can see up there, it has a stick. It's like a stick like this, so you can actually pan, have a smooth pan. So I hope I get this tripod before I go to England. And this is a lens from Rokinon. This is from Korea. This lens is a prime lens. This is a prime lens right here. Look at the hood. The hood is I think it's about the same, but yeah, this is a prime lens. You cannot zoom with a prime lens. I love prime lens because it's just very sharp. If you want to get sharp image, you get a prime lens. I got this lens at the same time when I was buying the 24-70 lens. This is 1.5 aperture, 50 mm, and you cannot zoom. Yeah, but this lens is very sharp. Very sharp. Is 1.5, and Rokinon, or Samyang as you want to call it, have built their reputation on prime lens, and I believe any prime lens coming from this company is actually very good. So I recommend people who are searching for prime lens, third-party prime lens, not from Sony or whatever you're using, Canon. This is a very good, and I really recommend it. I used the same lens in college, but at 80mm, 80mm. I got a longer one. The college has the longer one, so but when I bought this, I decided to get a 50mm because 50mm is the normal range, I guess. I don't know. Just a fun fact, you don't need to use all these equipments to make YouTube video. You can just use your phone. You can just use a GoPro. Like me, I'm using a GoPro with an iPad right here as my external display, as you can see.